Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
Our podcast this week is going to feature and work on the subject of housing. Housing is absolutely critical to the area. Our first guest is Senator Dick Anderson, and Senator Anderson has been a formidable force spokesperson not only for Lincoln City but statewide when it comes to housing. Welcome, Dick.
Well, thank you, Roger, and thank you for the compliment. I like to think so with your comments. Housing is real important to me personally, but also to our community and to the great state of Oregon.
Now, your housing experience doesn't start with your senatorial position.
Correct. I've, after graduating from college and way back when, I've spent 35 years in the housing industry. And actually, the last 12 of my years were not just in Portland with the Federal National Mortgage Association, known as Fannie Mae. And so I covered Oregon and Idaho for Fannie Mae, doing nothing but affordable housing and housing for hard to serve folks.
As we look around Lincoln City right now, we see a lot of building going on.
Yes, we do, and fortunately, but we need to go back in time and think a little bit about the housing, because I don't think your radio audience needs to be told that there's a need. I think we all recognize there's a need.
It's there.
And at all price points, rental and ownership, all types. But that just didn't happen overnight. It's been building, and going back in records, the state of Oregon really started losing production in about 2006.
When you say production, we're talking about housing
new production.
Okay,
new production coming
right
on to meet the need. But you'll see the permits numbers and the total production dropping off in about 2006, just before the Great Depression. And it hasn't recovered. We produced probably about 20,000 on a good year, number of units per year. And the governor has set a goal of 36,000 per year. We want to get to that
stretch.
Rate. Yeah. And so my point being is, one, we're not going to cure it overnight, and it didn't just happen overnight. It's been a long time coming. We, I think, specifically feel the pressure worse in rural areas and on the coast. You know, our schools, our cities, the hospital, everybody is adversely affected. The small businesses, we're short of housing, and the workforce, can't find housing that they can afford.
Okay, the project's going on right now in Lincoln City. A lot of that with the support of state money, correct?
Yes, the ones you see, the new wood. But again, I hate to take you back in time.
Okay.
But one of the things that Lincoln City did well was, even back in 2011, 2012, they changed their ordinances. The city actually knew there was a housing issue then, and started looking at are we part of the problem? Is the city part of the problem? And ordinances, often are. And quite frankly, we found things. So if I can,
sure.
Parking requirements. If you remember back then, there weren't a lot of multifamily units being built, and weren't for quite a while. We found out by looking at the ordinance that we were requiring, more parking spaces than really needed to per unit. And we were also requiring additional parking spaces for boats and RVs on site. Well, when you're in a land shortage, why would you require that? And there's businesses that do that kind of rental space. So we modified it. We also went around and added mixed use, where you can build housing on top of commercial with more zone areas. We did cottage housing. We did ADUs, the units, kind of mother-in-law units. So we kind of set the stage. I think the city did a good job. We bought the villages, if you recall, back in then. Again, knowing we're not making any more land. So if you have the land, then you can start dictating what you want. And I think you're seeing the fruit right now of those efforts.
And those efforts are producing housing units for all a cross-section of the society, right?
Well, that's the plan. What you're seeing right now is actually a big one on 29th, 26th, there,
Right.
107 units. That's income restricted. That came with a lot of state money in order to get the subsidy down in order to serve the lower folk with needs. The other one, Wacoma, right across from the Thai Bay restaurant, 44 units. That's state money also that came as a result of the wildfire funding, helping survivors. And so we've done different things in the state. And I say we because it's been my time in the Senate where we've funded these kind of things. Actually, the Housing Authority of Lincoln County has got a project going on in Depot Bay, 12 units. And the 44 units I just spoke of is the Housing Authority. So there's a lot of stuff happening.
We got a list in a minute, and wanted to make mention you're involved with a state committee with the governor.
Yes, I'm on the Senate Housing and Development Committee and have been since elected, vice chair of that. I share that position with Senator Jama from Portland is the chair, and we work well together. The governor, Governor Kotek, appointed me to her Committee on Housing Production, affectionately called HPAC, Housing Production Action Council. And that's made up of experts, housing experts, field people that actually get their boots and hands dirty in housing, and trying to come up with answers to the barriers why production isn't happening, what we can do more of.
Before we get out of here, congratulations. It's our understanding you have filed for re-election.
I have. I did this week, matter of fact. So my term doesn't expire until the end of 2024. But as we all enjoy campaigning, I thought I would do it early and get out in front of it. I feel there's so much left to do. Crises don't get cured overnight. I've got a lot of things working besides housing, and I'd like to see them through for the betterment of the coast and North County of Lincoln and the state of Oregon.
Senator Dick Anderson. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Bruce Polby, reminding you to be prepared. We have a variety of life-saving Go kits in stock at Lincoln City Sporting Goods, your electronic superstore in the heart of Lincoln City.
Hey, it's Jesse Geller with the Beach Club and Event Center. Need a few more reasons to stop on by? We're now offering Taco Tuesdays and Italian Wednesdays. If you need a space to rent, we're your people. We're located at 2020 Northeast 22nd Street in Lincoln City.
When looking for the bestsellers of today and yesterday, look no further than Bob's Beach Books. Hi, I'm Diana Portwood, and on behalf of my sister Emily at Roberts Bookshop, we thank our dad, Bob, for the vision he had in establishing our 2 family-owned bookstores in Lincoln City.
I'm Josh Zantello with Zantello Law Group, and we are fortunate to have a number of attorneys in our office that specialize in a variety of law fields. Call our office and set up a free consultation. With our field of experts, you're never alone.
Hello, this is Lucinda.
Lucinda, Roger, with a podcast in Lincoln City. How are you?
Hi, Roger. I am doing just dandy. How about yourself?
Oh, it's busy. I understand you're in Eugene at this point in time attending a conference.
I am.
And we want to talk about Habitat for Humanity. You know, and every time I think of Habitat, first imaging that comes to mind is Jimmy Carter with a hammer building a house. But it's more than that anymore, correct?
Absolutely. Jimmy Carter was one of our biggest advocates and best volunteers, and obviously our greatest PR ever to help promote what Habitat does. But we are evolving beyond just building homes and selling them to low-income households through an affordable mortgage. We're involved in disaster recovery, advocacy. We're now helping provide access to down payment assistance and individual development accounts for down payments and home repairs. We do home repairs for low-income homeowners. There's a lot going on there.
There's an awful lot going on. What precipitated all of this? What's the driving force?
Between the growth and the change?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, really, it is about serving more people.
Okay.
In Lincoln County, we have a fairly small affiliate. And when I looked at our statistics and I saw that on average, we were producing one home every 18 months. And in recent years, we had slowed down a little bit. Pandemic had some impact and
Sure.
other factors definitely had some impact. But we really want to serve more people. We have a huge housing crisis, and affordable housing is so difficult to come by on the coast. We want to make a bigger impact. And so part of the way that we can do that is through home repairs. So helping preserve the affordable housing that's out there for folks who are on a fixed income and maybe can't afford that small repair, that if they take care of it now will prevent a much greater expense later. Preserve the life of the home, make it safer for them to continue living there as they age in place. We can help more people through home repairs than we can through just home ownership. And we're never going to give up on affordable home ownership. That is our central mission, but we're supplementing that with more ways to help folks to either enter home ownership or stay in their homes once they do own them.
But you are still attempting to build houses, the beginning of Habitat, though, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Again, that's always going to be our central mission, is new or rehabilitated homes that we then sell to low-income households. So we currently have 2 homes that we're building in North Lincoln City. One of them should be done before the end of this year, the other early next year. And we selected those homeowners a couple years ago, and they've actually been helping build the homes. We have 2 more homes that are queued up for Waldport, where we have the land. We've identified the majority of the funding we're going to need for those homes. We're about to open our homeowner selection process. So within the next few weeks, we should start seeing that out in the news. Opportunities for people to come learn about how do you apply to become a Habitat homeowner and purchase one of those 2 homes.
Now, you talked
We're
about
absolutely going to continue to do that.
You talked about money. Where does the lion's share of your money come from, Lucinda?
It's changed over the last few years. The majority of our funding used to come from individuals and local organizations, with some grant funding from banks and other organizations. Lately, we have shifted to the majority of the funding is actually coming from the state. So we have access to what's called LIFT funding, so Local Innovation Fast Track, and we're able to access some pretty significant funding right now through the state for that, as well as some funding from the state for some wildfire recovery projects that we're working on. So that's where some of the funding comes from. We also have our restores. So when folks donate furniture, appliances, excess building materials and things to the restores, and other folks come in and purchase them, after we finish paying all our expenses, then the net proceeds help fund our mission.
You've got stores in Lincoln City and in Newport. Are they the same type of materials?
Generally speaking, they're pretty much the same. The difference is you just never know what's going to come in, Roger. It's amazing some of the things that come through those doors, and you never know if it's going to be donated in Lincoln City or if it's going to come from someplace closer to Newport. So what they have obviously just really depends on what the donations are, but they both have a lot of furniture, some building materials. We carry recycled paint now in our stores. Comes in 11 different colors. We have other accessories for painting, so if you have paint needs, you can come in and buy that. Some small housewares, appliances, that kind of thing.
I would have to think there is stuff that you would turn away, though.
I'm sorry, stuff that we have to throw away?
That you would turn away and not bring into the store because it's not going to sell. There's got to be that kind of stuff out there, too.
Yeah, there are some times when that happens. Our staff are pretty well familiar with what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. And so if we don't think we can sell it, unfortunately, we do sometimes have to tell people no. We do have a driver in a truck that goes out on a daily basis to pick things up. And we always try to be careful to say no, but not to say, oh, yeah, we'll pick that up, but to say, we'll come take a look at that.
Right.
And if we think it'll sell, absolutely. And then there are things we just can't take. We can't take mattresses, used mattresses. We can't take used car seats or cribs or things to do with babies, just because of the risk factor with those. If there were some defect in them and some accident happened, there's just too much risk in that. So there's some things we just can't take no matter what. And then there are other things we can't take because they're just not going to sell.
Lucinda, we appreciate you taking the time away from your conference to get on the phone with us. We'll talk more about Habitat for Humanity down the road because it is a fascinating subject. It is critically needed in all of Lincoln County. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, Roger, and definitely would want your audience to know we also run on volunteers. So if anybody wants to help support affordable housing in our community, they can volunteer at our resource, on our job sites, in our office, on committees or board service. Lots of ways to get involved and help, decrease that affordable housing gap that we have in our county. So, and would love to talk to you sometime about what we're doing with wildfire recovery efforts. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about what we're doing.
Executive Director Lucinda Taylor, Habitat for Humanity of Lincoln County. We'll be back in just a moment.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries.
Gary LaVox, the voice of Rascal Flatts. Live. Saturday, October 21st, Chinook Winds Casino Resort. Songs spanning a 20-year career. Reconnect with Gary LaVox. On sale now at ChinookWinds.com. Gary LaVox, live at Chinook Winds, where concerts are better at the beach.
One of our favorite restaurants in Lincoln City happens to be in the Nelscott Strip, and in the Nelscott Strip, you'll find a Mexican restaurant second to none. It's the Lincoln City La Roca, and Gabby Aguilera is with us. He's the owner of this restaurant. You've been in business how long in there now, Gabby?
Like 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
Your favorite item on the menu is what?
Camarones a la diabla.
And tell me about that.
We make with a special sauce.
Uh-huh.
And we put rice and beans on the side.
Is this a family recipe?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not going to give out too much information about it.
Yep.
Secret stuff. You have been there for 6 years. It has grown all of the time, has it not?
Yeah, I working for 17 years from La Roca.
Really?
Yep.
That's a long time.
Long time.
You got a lot of family there as well?
Yeah.
Tell me about the family that works in the restaurant.
Yeah, the family they working hard. Everybody is nice. Yeah. Good service, good friends.
And the service is something I really do appreciate in the restaurant because I'm greeted the minute I walk through the door. Everybody is greeted the minute they walk through the door, and you're made to feel like you're at home.
Like that, yep.
Now, that's not the only restaurant you have in the Nelscott Strip.
We have a Nelscott Breakfast House, too.
And the menu there is all breakfast or...
all breakfast, yep.
Open what hours?
We open 7:30 to 2.
Okay.
And we have good biscuits and gravy, like homemade.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yep.
Oh, and La Roca is open?
Yeah, 10:30 to 8.
Okay, but the main thing is dinner, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good food. Good friends there. You make a lot of friends, don't you?
Yep, a lot of friends.
Is that a family trait, or is that a cultural trait that makes people warm and friendly within that culture, or all of the above?
Yep, yeah.
Do you spend a lot of time in Mexico as well?
Yeah, I have half living in this country and half in Mexico.
Whereabouts in Mexico?
Veracruz.
Okay.
But the family is from Oaxaca.
And again, it's a culture that is family-centered, right?
Yep.
Just like your restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Family restaurant.
Family restaurant. La Roca, Nelscott Strip, right here in Lincoln City. We'll be back in a moment.
Are you ready to embark on a journey of lifelong learning? Look no further than Oregon Coast Community College. Discover endless opportunities through our community education program. From art classes to cooking workshops, there's something for everyone. But that's not all. If you're age 60 or better, you can enjoy the Senior Waiver Program. Take credit courses without paying a dime in tuition. Yep, you heard right, no tuition charges, though course and college fees do apply. Visit our website at oregoncoast.edu and don't miss out on an ocean of opportunity.
Going to be talking about Family Promise of Lincoln County. Elizabeth Riaz, the executive director, is with us. Family Promise is what, Elizabeth?
Is a fabulous nonprofit that is a community response that started providing emergency shelter to families in Lincoln County in June of 2014. And I came aboard in June of 2016, and we do a lot more than provide shelter. It's what we're known for. We do a wide variety of supportive and preventative services, from financial literacy classes to parenting classes to having a diaper and a hygiene bank. Recently, the Oregon Coast Community College Nursing Students Program just did a hygiene drive for us to help give diapers and other items that families use on a regular basis that cost money.
So how many families can you have in your care or working with at a given time?
Okay, that's a great question. As far as providing emergency shelter, we have 3 to 4 rooms at any given time at Coastal Phoenix Rising, which is a project turnkey located here in Lincoln City. I could go on a soapbox about it. I think that is one of the best examples of how communities can come together to provide shelter for the most vulnerable citizens in a way that's fiscally responsible and also gets the needs met under a project turnkey. So we can provide shelter for 3 to 4 families at any given time. We often have anywhere from 6 to 15 families that are on our wait list trying to get into shelter. These families that are on our wait list have gone through the intake process and they're just waiting for an opening. So those families are able to access our day center to cook meals in our kitchen, to do laundry, showers, utilize computers, and just have a safe place to be.
Where are they now?
Unfortunately, there are a lot of families that are either doubled or tripled up. We have quite a few that are in sheds, vehicles, fifth wheels, RVs. There's a wide variety of places that families are.
But they're right here within our neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
And do we have blinders on?
That's a good question. It's not a black and white question. I think a lot of people in this community have awareness and are trying to do their part. At the end of the day, we all know somebody who is either experiencing homelessness or at risk of being homeless. The housing anywhere, nationally, statewide, but in particular in Lincoln County and even more so in North Lincoln County, is so tight that there's no way you don't know somebody that is either experiencing it or is at the verge of becoming homeless.
So how does a family get involved with Family Promise?
Well, you can just show up or you can call us. We often get referrals through the school district in particular because we do focus on families, and other partner agencies are able to refer us. We do have a website, familypromiseoflincolncounty.org. We're also on social media with Facebook and Instagram. Again, Family Promise of Lincoln County. We do have a lot of different outreach events that we attend, so people may not know all the services that we provide. And so, we're just out and about, and we've been around long enough that we don't find people, they find us.
What's the biggest misconception of what Family Promise is or isn't?
That's a good question. We are not able to provide move-in costs.
Okay.
A lot of people are on the look for resources when it comes to moving. That's a huge obstacle. That's an obstacle for families that are 2-parent income, stable, have a relative amount of savings, good credit, employment. If they're renters, the move-in cost can be anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000. That could even be going into an apartment. And so we are not able to help with the move-in costs, but we are able to refer you to other agencies that do. We do our job. Our family advocate, Christina Hannas, is fabulous. She has a great relationship with a lot of our community partners. So we pay attention to funding cycles and other programs that might come up and who qualifies for what. And that's part of what we do, is make sure you're accessing your resources.
Can people visit Family Promise, or do you try to keep behind a closed door, or what's the story?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So we have a really unique building, 5030 Southeast Highway 101 in the Taft District. It is right next to the Pines Dine. It's a very bright blue building. The very front half of our building that is on the highway is a giant office. It's a huge office. It's our meeting space. It's where we hold classes. That is very much open to the public. The back half of our building is more of the day center.
Sure.
So that is where families that are in crisis or are receiving services from us, that's where they would have, their meals or their showers and their laundry. In general, we try and keep people out of that back half. So when we hold classes or community events, it's up in the very front. We often do different type of community trainings. I don't have anything scheduled right now, other than we have some financial literacy classes coming up that are geared for people that have not had much experience with checkings or savings account. WaFed is coming in and teaching a course on that. That's on our website and our social media. We have art night that's open to the public the second Tuesday of every month from 5 to 6:30. Domino's Pizza delivers pizza at 6 o'clock. So there's pizza involved and an art craft, and that is open to the community. And the reason we do it that way is you don't know if the person standing next to you helping their kid do an art project sits under a board and is, well off. Sure. Or it could be somebody in the community that just loves art and is trying to find things to do with their children. Or it could be somebody that is living in their vehicle and they get to do an art activity that is, a family affair in a sense, and we're all equal.
We're going to switch gears. We've just got a couple of minutes, and I want to talk about something I know it's very near and dear to your heart, Bears Beach Cleanup. It's forthcoming on Sunday, October 22nd, 11 to 1. Tell me about that.
Bear Reyes was my son. In October 22nd of 2019, he passed by suicide. Mm-hmm. It was very unexpected. He was a freshman at Taft High School. And he just loved life. And he really, in particular, loved the ocean and knew that we lived in the best place on earth. And in particular, he had this passion about people leaving garbage on the beach. He did not understand it. He could not comprehend. He would just be like, but Mom, they walked past a garbage can to take their stuff to the beach. They're walking past the garbage can to go to their car. Why don't they put it in their garbage can? And I'm like, I really don't know, son. And I can't tell you how many years of being on the beach or out in public with him. And if he saw you leaving your garbage, he would go pick it up and bring it to you. And he would say, I'm sure you didn't mean to do that. It's going to hurt the birds. And sometimes he'd get a little grumpy response, mostly because they were embarrassed. But overall, it was a teaching moment, and he just loved the beach. And Sluds Bay was one of his favorite places. And so every year, we do a beach cleanup in honor of him. So we're going to be down at the end of 51st Street under the covered picnic benches there. Yeah. We will have food. There's usually tamales and pozole, and he had this thing about white bread, peanut butter, and jelly sandwiches. That was his treat, so we always have that. You'll have gear to go pick up garbage on the beach, and this year we're really excited that Cascade Head Biosphere is going to be having the Rackline Community Project representation there. And I think that's important to engage families and especially children and the connection to the ocean in a way that they can participate and see the results of that. But then they start to pay attention a little bit more to what's around them. And I mean, we live on the best place on earth, so.
Bears Beach Cleanup, Sunday, October 22nd, 11 to 1, Southwest 51st Street. Elizabeth, thanks for being here. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Adina Zeller. Zellers is now in 2 North Lincoln County locations. The original Zellers in Rose Lodge and now Zellers in Lincoln City, formerly Maxwell's. Zellers with great family food and kickin' fun like our line dancing. Just wait until you try our homemade clam chowder.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service. And a special thank you to our guests today in the podcast, including State Senator Dick Anderson, Ms. Senator Taylor, the Habitat for Humanity of Lincoln County, and Elizabeth Riaz, Executive Director of Family Promise here in Lincoln County. Good program, good information, good guests to have on the air with us. And things upcoming, Paul, we did not have a winner the first week out, feeling a little bit like the lottery.
Yeah, so we're going to have a second pull of the hat here, and we'll be announcing our potential winner, which we'll then have until Monday at 5 p.m. to claim their prize.
And that person will win potentially what?
It's $100 worth of gift certificates. We have $25 from Kenny's IGA, $25 from Zeller's Bar and Grill, as well as Lincoln City Sporting Goods and Bob's Beach Books, all $25 each for $100 in total.
$100 worth of winning, and we'll do that in just a moment. First, I'd like to remind you, Spooky Spectacular Candy Drive is underway right now, sponsored by the Lincoln City Kiwanis Club. It is an opportunity to help them put on a Halloween party for all of the kids in and around Lincoln City. So if you have candy, bags of candy, wrapped bags of candy, the Kiwanis Club would appreciate receiving that from you. Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce Awards Night is coming up on Saturday, November 4th, 6 o'clock at the Lincoln City Cultural Center. Tickets are on sale. They're $80 per person, $600 for a table, and that includes a prime rib dinner as well. Registration is now open for the Mushroom Camp at Camp Westwind, and more information from that from Camp Westwind as well. And for practice up, get ready for those fine dance steps, if you will. There's a big party upcoming in Lincoln City. It's the Angel Ball, the Festival of the Trees, happening again in December. It's the opening for the Yuletide season. It is a wonderful event. It is December 2nd. Tickets are available at the Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce office. Now, Paul, do we have a potential winner for this week's drawing?
Yeah, in fact, we do. And it's a gentleman that was at our senior fair and is by the name of Rich Boese, or Bose, and the last name spelling B-O-E-S-E. So, Rich, if you can hear us, give us a call at 458-201-3039. Again, that number, 458-201-3039. Or send Dad an email at roger@doublershow.com. That's DOUBLER show.com.
And no D in the Roger.
Correct.
No D in the Roger. And that will do it to the doings on a Double R Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you and your family and friends around the world and across the street can join us on the Double R Show. For Paul Jenham, I'm Double R. Have yourself a happy day.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grawn.